you guys, I want to welcome you to this video. It's me again with another video. I have a bad throat today. Okay, so it's hard to speak. I will be here talking quietly, sharing a few points that have come to my mind, come to my focus recently. Stuff that, it's nothing really new to what I've been saying before, but some things have come to me, other imagery to my mind that I would like to just project out in language for you. Now, while I'm here, I will be doing some more stretching, just doing some exercises. I was already working out here, like I always do, doing my exercise. And I'm not finished yet. I've not finished my daily routine, so I thought right now I would do the last few exercises here, but that's not the focus of this video, okay? I'm not doing any fancy show. I'm just exercising. But my words are more important, okay? For the messages I want to be sharing in this video. There are a lot of exercises which I have not recorded in this video because I've already finished doing those exercises. But other exercises we will be doing, just simple exercises here. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a martial arts teacher and practitioner, lifelong martial arts teacher. I believe in self-preservation. Try to avoid all fights if you can. But martial arts is good for self-defense and health. So I teach forms of Kung Fu, mostly Wing Chun, which is Yung Chun. Anyway, but the focus of this video is not martial arts, However, let me just bring into focus first that martial arts is part of my life, and all that I practice are the positive things which are good for me. I don't smoke, I don't drink alcohol, and I don't take any form of drugs. I don't follow the ways of society just because others do. I don't buy into any of that. I'm not materialistic. I'm not someone who believes in having a self-image and all of this, and have an ego or anything. I don't seek attention. I am someone who feels that I can speak. Even if I don't speak to the world, I know inside. I have self-peace inside. And there are lots of people who don't. I'm not saying my life is the easiest. My life is going through struggles right now. I'm going through struggles, in this society. Let me remind you, I'm not a person of society, a man-made set of rules and habits, ultimately behavior, chaotic behavior most of the time. I'm a person of nature. I follow true nature. And I have this, what you might call enlightenment, I feel inside of me, at least close, very close to. Is it ever achievable? If we say that the perfection isn't achievable, then being on the path, that kind of path, is perfection, you would say. So, I'm a creative person. I'm not a destructive person. I create art and animation. I create short movies. I make different kinds of music. I focus on many different things. I can speak, which I'm happy to say, not perfectly, but 2 languages, the Mandarin Chinese as well as my first language, English, which I'm speaking in this video. I can appreciate artistry and creation in all aspects of life. I can appreciate probably more than a few things in most people. We can see good when our vision is better. Right? So how can we expect to see good if we don't have clarity in our vision? How can we have better vision if we're always straining our eyes trying to see? Straining our eyes to see, straining our ears to hear, when really the sounds come to the eardrum and the light reflects, the visuals come to the eyes. When you're relaxed sometimes, things come to you naturally. You don't try to smell. You can sniff a flower, but the smells come to you. Same with your taste buds. You can taste and feel. 5 senses. Life should not be a strain. Some people call life a strain, a suffering, a pain. Excuse me. And they always reflect back on that reality, as they call it. But they see around them, immediately around them, the times we're living in, the world we're living in, the culture we're living in, the times, the world, the culture, the environment, the society. It's not real. None of it is actually real. That is not to take away from our human societies. I don't want to say, I want to say civilizations, but I think we need to be more civil, especially in these times we're living in. That is not to take away from cultures or the achievements of them. That is not to take away from whatever, ideas that bring about a better way of being for you, and that just happens to be you, no matter who you may be, from which part of the world. But we are all innately positive, we could say. What I mean is by that is positive and negative is a human concept. The fact is we are living organisms, we are beings. And even going down on a smaller level, we are actually just the energy of the universe that makes up everything. The cells and the atoms. But we're alive. Now, who knows what a gorilla thinks? If a gorilla gets angry about certain things and starts fighting with the other gorillas, or jealous of whatever, the other one's attracted a mate or got some food. However, it does not take away from that fact that he is a gorilla. Whatever thoughts he thinks or he thinks, whatever imagery however he perceives the imagery that is coming to him through his eyes and ears, his natural body, and then projects out, and it somehow transforms in his mind into an emotional state of principle. That I need to fight for this, to hold this, to reject that, to attain this, to go there, to work it all out, to show people, show other gorillas in this case. All of that aside, he is just a gorilla. And if he were in another part of the jungle, at a different time, things would be different. So Krishnamurti, the great legend Krishnamurti, was talking about how human beings, often live in the past, in memory, and that's what affects what they do now, because they're basing it off of a truth, the truth that they've perceived to be the way, in their mind, a set of principles that now they want to use. That is the only way they know how to live in the now. Yet they're still living in the fake. The society which doesn't exist. It's just a game. And games should be fun, but it's more of a battle. And it's a business. So many people are in a business mind state. I'm not talking about survival and all this. I understand there's money and people need to eat. But what I'm saying is nature's the true power and truth. And you can see it even on YouTube and on videos. I see videos with the thumbnails, and they're talking about, being an indie Oh, hold on 1 second, that's my front door, scared the shit out of me. So, I want to just say, in this world, there's a lot of people that you see that have this business frame of mindset, and that's all you see. I've seen videos online, as I say, thumbnails, where they're talking about the business, of becoming an indie, games company, or what do you call it, games, they're talking about selling, making money, the whole thing, that's it. But where's the passion for creating? Not creating as a business because we want to get money. That's our way of doing things. And you see this across all media platforms too. So, media, forms of media, art, animation, it's all a business, you see. Games, movies, music. It shouldn't be that way. Not because I say so. But what about the passion, the content? If you have a restaurant and it's all about the business and making money, yeah, you're going to be looking into what your customers like. But if everybody's in that shallow way of thinking, does anybody really know what they like? Do they understand their likes and dislikes in the world? It's not for me to judge or me to say. But a lot of times, people go around like a robotic, empty shell of a person. Where's the content? In fact, have they ever known any? What substance of quality have we grown up on? What kind of values have we learned? What kind of useful knowledge? Because in this day and age, it seems to be that quality is, in a lot of ways, going down. Because people are trying to make more money. And they just sell what you buy. However, we see a lot of chaos. We see a lot of very, very unhealthy mix and mash, stressed out society, world full of people who are very deluded and confused as to what is true and what is not true. They don't see that they have the base of humanity, which is quality. So therefore, we can say flowers don't grow on a dead tree, kind of thing, right? If I'm trying to give some kind of analogy, some kind of an example. Everything comes from the root. Obviously, if you have more money in the base, then you can do more things, right? And use that money to then later on get more money. It comes like that, right? If you've got nothing to start with, then you've got more of a struggle against you. Right? So what about, forget money? The value of human life. What quality, what do you have? And what can that bring? Most of the time, unless you follow everybody else, you're going to go nowhere. You're going to get nowhere. That's what people will tell you. Or they're going to say, if people aren't buying what you're about, your personal quality, or even your human quality, and if you don't become more like a machine, then you're not going to get much for that. But the thing is, people are always about the interests of others. Always about the interests of others. And they're always about that, So I'm just going to do some more exercises here while I'm talking to you. But a lot of people are always about the interests of others. And they buy into all this fear, and pain and suffering. And they become part of the whole machine, if you like. It's very, very sad to see. Because ultimately we are all human, and we have to value this mind and body that we have. It's one mind and one body. Now, let's talk about some other points while I'm here. So, in my real life, I'm a creator. You know, when I'm not working or slaving, as I call it, in this human society of deluded people, forced, just so that I may eat and drink, forced to work here, and completely, rejected from else, what's the word, restricted in other areas. I had to struggle to survive. But in my real life, to me, I'm a living being, and I do things which keep me positive and keep me healthy, that means, in body and mind. So martial arts and exercise is very important. This is just a basic routine that I do every day. I do a lot of exercise, to keep the basic structure strong enough, just for me, as in what feels right for me, Good exercise, basic exercise each day. But the thing is, I see unhappy people all around me. Unhappy, lost, completely lost. In most of my life, most of the people that I have seen, encountered or interacted with have been very, very negative. That's not me judging them. I hope it not to be me judging them. But they've been so down in themselves. I've met people who talk about their cultures too, and everything that they've grown up to know, the reality. For them, it's reality. And it's crazy because, I've studied a lot. I've lived in the world as a human being, with the traces of the past and everything, still pushing through. You can see that, and what's here now. I'm part of humanity, but I see people that are so stuck, that they do not understand what's man-made and what's not. What's human-made and what's not. All the trends, the fads, the fashion, what's popular now. It's all about, for them, it's all about money and popularity and face, and what's popular, what's all the rage, for most people. So they never see, beyond that. There's a wall that blocks them from seeing the horizon, They become lazy when they see the answer that they think is the end-all answer, I've learned by self-preservation and focusing on my energy that I can be more healthy. I can feel better in myself. Not as an attitude, I just feel physically better. I've been pretty uncomfortable the last couple of days. I've had a bad throat and cold. This morning I woke up and I was clogged up. I couldn't speak. Just by breathing, by being positive, knowing to relax and knowing where there is no battle and being one with myself. I'm not trying to prove a point like in this video. I'm not trying to prove a point. I'm just understanding myself, my connection with nature, and my physical atoms and cells in my body and the energy and the flow, the blood flow. I'm here and alive as much as any living thing on the planet. As much. I don't need to be a bodybuilder. I don't need to be a fake thing even to like, you know, well-known pop star or whatever. You know, if I make music and I enjoy it and everybody hates it, fine. If it makes me feel good. Not as an idea, it just makes me feel good. And okay, in the mind too. But why should my ideas be based on others? When I create a piece of artwork, why should I worry that someone else likes it or not? Now, I understand that's why they have businesses and things, that because it might be bringing in the money. Of course, I care about that, which brings me on to the next topic in a moment. Kind of thing, all related. The disconnected will always be the disconnected. But let's get to the point, okay? So what I'm trying to say is art, okay, art. And for example, to me, is a thing I love, you know. A lot of people will do their passions if it brings them money, and they don't have much other passion in life, apart from making money and all the rest of it. So but if it's about survival, then you don't know my story and, you know, what I've had to face. What I'm saying is there should be more to life than just survival. I don't believe life is about suffering. Life is about pain. Life is about power of living and overcoming suffering. Because in life, there is no death. Darkness is the absence of light. We could say, you know, the cold is the absence of warmth. We should be like the sun to ourselves and water our garden with the elements of nature that present themselves to us. And the negative things that present themselves to us, or the things that are no benefit to us, especially man-made, the unnatural things, are basically nothing. We should avoid the problem. I know they say you can't run away from problems and all the rest of it. Sometimes you have to deal with things. Correction. You have to deal with whatever you tell yourself you have to deal with, and that can exhaust you. What principles do you live by? What about your physical body? Is there a way to maintain this physical body? You know, is the point? Is there a way to at least strive to be living better each day, regardless of the set of circumstances? Now, I see myself as a complete example of that. Because if I was not living in this situation, in whatever part of the world, if I was living in another situation, another environment, it may be better, not just worse, but be better. And in what I'm living in this society structure where I'm trying to survive, none of that's doing any good for me at all. I'm able to live under a normal apartment. I'm not living in a cave, okay? I'm able to live with certain people and get by as well, because they're people of that, and you know, whereas by myself I wouldn't, you know, be able to do so per se necessarily. But the thing is, you know, what gets me by is me and my natural being, my mind and body. That is what gets me by, gets me through. You see? You don't see, you have to feel. So seeing is believing, but feeling is the truth. And by feeling, I mean, you know, experiencing it in the physical, including the mind as a physical essence. Phenomena, right? So, yeah. Okay, so So for me, martial arts and basic stretching and working out has been definitely an important part of my life, because I can feel my, fitness, my health, and all of that. Definitely a very important part of my life. Okay. I used to do kickboxing. I've done karate, but most of my life I've practiced kung fu systems. I teach Wing Chun, as I say, to just what I know. And there's so many different ways we could talk. There's so many different areas when it comes to human life. There's only so much you can do with your human life. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, like I was saying, there's only so much you can do with your human life. We practice many things which come naturally to us. And then we also practice many things which come not just from our development and natural state, but from what we've perceptually experienced, if I can say that. It's perceptually experienced from other people, meaning we believe we've experienced it. Like we've seen someone doing, like I've learned martial arts, in my life since I was a young kid. These are things which other people have created. They don't really exist like any forms of dancing or whatever. You see, arts, music, these things wouldn't be if it weren't for human beings creating them. At least human created ones, forms. So, however, this all comes from the human being. So it's first-hand creation or imitation, basically. I can't say second-hand creation, but it's like imitation. But all that I have practiced are the things which are good for me. See, they're the things that have kept me going or kept me coming to myself. If there is no come, there can be no go. But why is it that because there is always go in people that you cannot come back to the self? As far as you have gone, can't you come back? With all the information we gather, with all this study, why can't there actually be any learning? When there's learning and realization, you can exist anywhere. I don't mean you can survive in any environment, any part of the world. I'm just saying that you can exist anywhere in self and always be here. Because I always say, if you're trying to go everywhere and do everything, then you can be nowhere and you do nothing ultimately, right? But it's like, if there's a true understanding, if your mind and body understand without too much extra information, there's a connection with truth and reality, and you come back to the self. Boom, here you are. What I'm saying is you could be standing on a cliff in Egypt looking out at the pyramids. I don't know, for example, I'm just giving you a rough thing, okay? You could be in the Amazon jungle, you could be anywhere and having a bad day. Or you might be somewhere else having a good day, in Antarctica or whatever, or in New York, or wherever you are. And if your mind clicks into a certain vision or delusion even, you can suddenly be feeling better or be feeling worse. And that's from a delusionary state. Now, how about a true state? How about your physical and mind now without too much imagination? If you just literally were unplugged from that bullshit, so to speak, that negativity, that whatever's taking you away from yourself, and you just come straight back to the self, then what? You see, regardless of all the programs on the computer, there's a central system, So there's a central system. Regardless of the martial arts techniques, there's a central core, which is your physical health. Beyond all the words you speak, beyond all the train rides, the train routes that you take on the subway, whatever, there's a someone. But behind the someone, the ego, the image, no. There's character, there's meaning. And beyond meaning beyond principle, not meaning as principle. Okay? Not meaning as a principle. What do you mean? These are my principles. No. What do I mean? Boom, boom, the heart is beating. Without any... The heart doesn't think about it, does it? Oh, I'm standing in Paris today and I don't like your ugly mug. Your ugly face. You know? When you're walking down the road and if someone's got a bone, some pain in their bones, I don't know, in their body, they need to see a doctor. That's got nothing to do with someone who's walking down the road carrying the Italian flag or culture, and because flags are man-made, languages are man-made. Traditional clothes, traditional cooking, traditional languages, tradition, all systems of laws and politics and all that, and the fashion, and whatever style of anything. Now or back in the Victorian days or the ancient times or the future, what is the human essence? What is the human? What is he made up of? The structure. To then be somehow trying to compile a thing called AI, artificial intelligence. We are the essence of it all. We are what laid those roads. And we are the ones who, have done what we've done in the world and left marks. But when all earthquakes and tornadoes blow and floods and the way of nature takes over, in years to come, if there were no human beings on the planet, all of this would just be dust. It would be history, and you'd never know. There are civilizations, like places that you can barely see anymore. There's like no trace of them. They've gone on the land. Excuse me. Probably got less trace of those places that actually existed. Less traces of them to be found. Less knowledge of them, so to speak, than the idea of, was there a thing called Atlantis, under the sea? If you know about that. So back to what I was saying, okay? So let's just get back to what I was saying anyway, a moment ago. There's a lot of misery, put it that way. Okay, there's a lot of misery in the world. And most of the people that I've come up against, I don't want to say it this way, have come up against me. Which is hard to do because I'm not a brick wall. I'm literally the essence of possibility, I'm like an open window for fresh air, for an open door. But what I'm saying is like, I've come face to face with people, or face to mask with people, who are so down and, miserable in themselves, They're not happy in themselves. And they want to show off and compare themselves to others, compete with others, is the word. And it's coming from a state of fear, from fear. There's a lot of people that don't know left from right, up, down, and all the rest of it, Okay. Now, in my many years working as a teacher also, I feel that, it's been absolutely insane to say this, but, it's been totally controlled by others. All of my work in all of my jobs, actually, in my life, all of the jobs I've worked in, have been dictated by other people. And people that dictate and try to control you are usually just trying to do things good for themselves. They're trying to benefit from you in some way. They don't really want you to benefit. And so a lot of the time they're not trying to get you to do right work, So it's a crazy thing, because I've been put there for many, many years as a teacher of all ages, and I've always had to follow, the ways of, what they've wanted, and it's like, so it's limited me from teaching to my best of my ability, Very limited. I've been limited to such a level. It's just unbelievable. And I could have benefited so many more people's lives just with what I know. When you let someone flourish, they're going to flourish, they're going to blossom. So, when it comes to me, I focus on my main passions in life. In my free time, I focus on my main big passion, which are art and animation. I do my martial arts training as well, but that's always kept me going. It's like my physical and mental maintenance is what it is. It's very necessary. Very necessary. I wouldn't be me if I didn't do the martial arts. I've been training since I was a young boy. I'm now 41 in this video. I've been teaching for many years my way. Not the ultimate best martial art, but it's like I just teach what I know, and I know I can benefit people with sharing what I know. We can all benefit each other with learning that bit extra. It is positive. But the point is, I'm trying to say, is that it's the creative passions, the things that I love, the art and the animation, the music creation, writing stories, making videos and short films, all that stuff, writing books, and then the things I've studied about nature and philosophy of the East, mostly. It's this stuff that's benefited me. I'm a massive fan of, which is a cheesy word, I know, I'm a massive fan in the context of what we're talking about, reality, but I'm a massive fan of Krishnamurti. I'm the biggest fan of Lao Tzu, the ancient philosopher Lao Tzu. I like Alan Watts, and Wayne Dyer, who are also into Southeastern philosophy. I like Sadhguru, and I respect people who've looked into positive ways and truth in things, who try to see things with some truth. So I'm not going to mention too many other names. I'll just mention one more, and that's Jacques Fresco. Jacques Fresco. Some of the things he's talked about touch on this. But some of the things that Krishnamurti were talking about, he said a lot of true things and a lot of good points. And one thing that Krishnamurti said was in a video I watched the other day again, Krishnamurti said that, it was talking about we should free ourselves from the whole idea from the whole phenomena of authority. That authority, to follow that is the wrong way. We need to follow truth, ultimate truth. And that's what is said in the Tao too. Like, Lao Tzu's philosophy book, or book about truth, real truth, which is called Yin and Yang, the Tao. The book's name is the Tao Te Ching, in that book. And in the book, he's talking about two sides to everything, the truth of everything, yin and yang. But the thing one thing it mentions is that. Lao Tzu mentions that too, basically. So when he says that, because we have this authority figure, we believe there's something else. It's an excuse ultimately. We give up all awareness and we follow belief, which is seeing again. Seeing is believing, but feeling is the truth. So rather than going with our true essence of truth, we follow what we see, and what we see is something outside of us. Rather than taking on responsibility, not with understanding of principle, but responsibility as in the way my heart's beating there, the way my inner organs are working are just of the function of what they are. That's the only way they can work, function. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist. The same as this whole universe and the planet. So the existence teaches you possibility. Now, I should see from that, not try to see things which are just I'm making up, which doesn't come from that. Who's the one of authority? Who should I follow? Okay, he's the king, let's follow him. No, that's not the way. And then they give him ego. The followers give the king power, because you call him the king and the leader. And then the king looks down and he says, yes, I am the king. And he sees that he's in control of everything. Yet he's not. He knows he's not really. And things go out of hand sometimes, out of control. And he's like, someone is always trying to seek control, always trying to control, has no control. All right. Sorry about any noise in the background, by the way. We've got people here. I think they're going to be brushing their teeth. But let me just talk, okay? So please ignore any other noises you may hear in the background. But yeah, when you believe that there's an authority, or when you give into that idea of constant power in action, as in constant doing, constant control, constant fighting, you never win. There is no winning. If you keep talking, you don't come to an end, see? But it's like when there's a silence, you can hear anything. It doesn't mean when there's nothing. Like, what I'm saying is that there's not space for two worlds. You've got another world existing in place where this planet is. I can't sit on that chair if somebody else is sitting on a chair. See it? There are many, many worlds going on, conflicting each other, contradicting each other in this one place that we are existing in. Well, there are many, make-believe worlds is what I'm saying, in this world we're living in. So, it's not that there's nothing when there's silence or clarity of mind, clear, so there's no imagery and words, and it's like a clear piece of paper. And then the sound, when it's silent, you can hear any sound. It's not the absence, but rather the absence of all else, all utter extra clutter and made up stuff. You come back to what is truly here. What is the eternal base, the eternal garden, if you like, the place, the universal, eternal possibility. You see, possibility is infinite, unlimited, and you must be limited. You must limit yourself if you wish to have unlimitedness ahead of you. See, so that must be. Okay? If you are unlimited right already, that's the end. But because I'm, see what I'm saying? Like, where can you go from that? So have an infinite space, an infinite vacuum, if you like. There's nothing there.
So just because you're limited doesn't mean you have nothing. It's like you are the seed of this eternal garden. Constantly, always remember the seed, always remember the energy. What it is there's life. What it is there's energy. It's the fact that there is only possibility. Something which is not possible, something which is non-existent, does not exist. So all we have is that. Brings you back to clarity. Takes you away, it should take you away from all visuals of what is big or small, right or wrong, all that. No, it's just what is. So what is? About all this imagery about you're the mayor, you're the whoever in the political party, blah blah blah, whatever. You're the you work for the whoever in the office, or you're close to the management, whoever. It's not the point. Nah, you've got a heart beating in your body. It doesn't know any of that. You've got veins in your body. So we are part of the energy of the universe, like the vein, like the blood. We're the blood of the universe. What up, blood? No. Yeah. So we need to understand truth. We need to understand truth. If you don't understand truth, you see, because your body knows more about what's going on, or should do, than even if it's suffering and you're failing your body by not taking care of it. Your body knows more about it. I mean, like even some of the inanimate things, like a rock, which has no life, you say, like a plant or grass or whatever. Like, but a rock, or let's say the things of the universe, all of the things that are here, all the matter, all the phenomena, understands more than what your mind might be making up, trying to understand, based on imagery, based on what you've seen around you. So it's crazy to see that there are many people that come to me in my daily life and they say things. They say, in our culture, we have a saying, blah, 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 right? And this and that in our place, and in our culture, there's an old saying, or there's a sentence which goes da di da di da, and the person's, sometimes the people are much younger than me, and they don't even know where them sayings are coming from. Take me for example. I'm a British person, whatever that's supposed to mean. I was born in a certain part of the world, and I grew up. As I say, I moved to China, right? But I've encountered so many Chinese people that have not studied. There are people obviously that know so much more than me, but there are also many people that I've come up against who don't realise that I've studied most of my life before they were even born. These concepts, these some of this ancient truth coming from Eastern philosophy, Chinese mostly. But some of these people, they know the phrases, whether they be from the East or the West. Some of these people, they just tell you, there's an ancient saying that goes like this. There's an old saying that in our culture. And I'm thinking, what does that mean to you? There's one saying, and I'm not going to say it in Chinese here. In this video, I'm speaking in English, okay? But there's one saying which goes to the essence of this. Being a good talker, or being a talker, is not as good as being a listener. Being a good talker, someone who can talk a lot, is not as good as being someone who can listen and understand more and hear more, And that's good, right? It's good, yeah. It's better to be a listener than a talker, right? Something like that, along those lines, right? I'm giving it. But then, again, the other day, another person, gave me this other sentence, which comes from, as they want to call it, the same culture, right? But it isn't from the same culture. It comes from a different mindset, and it comes from a different philosophy, let's be honest. What is culture? We are all individual human beings, and also human, even in one society there are different groups. But with that sentence being said, okay, about it's better to be a good listener, it's better to listen rather than keep talking all the time. Another person said to me, this is one of these people that are kind of brainwashed by society anyway, and robotically just following and they're miserable. It's quite a miserable person most of the time, I'm sorry to say. I've seen even more miserable ones, but this person said another thing. This person likes to talk, trust me. But this person, like more than me, I'm just making a video for you guys. This person said, okay, something to the effect of what? This is what the person said. They said, yeah, there's another saying in their culture, whatever that's supposed to be, which goes to the effect of something like this. The more you talk, the more mistakes you make. And don't forget, talking and communication can be from anything we do, right? So like talk, you can talk with action, and what you do. It's all a language of communicating a message, a meaning, right? So from words, spoken, written, even what you do, the gestures you make, the body language. Could you walk in? Someone walking in the office trying to look very, trying to impose his presence, whatever it is, it's all a language of expression. The need to express, but it's not the true self. About true self-expression, they're not doing that. A lot of them they're expressing an act, playing a role. Look at me, I'm something to be, seen, So they're expressing that already, which is not the true self. But still, they're putting that out because it's coming from fear and a lack of comfort. A lack of confidence in themselves. They're trying to put out this. They're fighting ultimately from fear. They're in danger, so they want to show some kind of people. They're trying to show some kind of something. They have to move. Not comfortable in space. They're not in this position. They're not in peace. So they have to move here, or they have to say this, or do this, or show that. See, and this is what happens. This is where the problem is. You see. So the problem is, what they're doing is they're giving themselves more stress and pressure in the first place. See, in the first place, and these people. Okay, but to say that, though, basically what they say is more can give yourself problem. By talking more, you're going to make more mistakes by saying more. So what, you're going to make more mistakes, right? So in a way you could say, well, I'm saying it contradicts the other one, but in a way it's the same as saying, if you it's better to not say too much and be a better listener, right? So they look similar, okay? Yeah, don't say too much. You make too many mistakes. Just listen and learn and be wise. But what I'm saying is the voice is on the inside anyway. You can never shut the voice off. You're always thinking, the voice of thought. When you're talking to others, you're ultimately talking to yourself, talking to that fear. You're trying to understand yourself and take the right steps, That's what you're ultimately trying to do and trying to balance yourself. You want to understand self-balance, which is why the arts are the martial arts. The martial arts is teaching you to understand and exercise the self. It's like meditation, it's like yoga, any kind of kung fu training, martial arts, When you paint a picture, you don't paint the picture to, try to necessarily be concerned with the world. As I'm saying, it should be coming from the inner being. How you truly see. How you see can affect what you see or what you don't. The clarity of your vision affects what you see, how much you see. Okay, again, being a listener with the eyes, I guess, right? So to speak. So then you can understand how to climb the mountain when you become one with it and you feel with it. You see? It's learning from what's there and what's not there. But what I'm trying to say is all elements, all angles, but hold on one second. What I'm trying to say to you is that you've got to look at this from different angles, okay? So if you've got someone there who's always looking at it, okay? You see? It's like, how can someone be listening if they're not talking? If there's no talking, there can be no listening. If there's no listening, there can be no talking. Right? If there's no talking, then what are you listening to? These people are always listening. They're always trying to hear words, listening with a certain way. There's no true peace inside. Like, you're trying to learn, so you don't learn very well. Learning comes sometimes, you know. Sometimes learning comes when you're not studying. But practice is going to be the thing. You have to develop yourself and practice to do certain things, you see, to develop ability. Okay, so let's look at that again for a second, just for a second. So, okay, right, it's like this. So, I'm just trying to think. You have to think before you speak sometimes. It's like, you know, the more you talk, the more mistakes you make, right? Let's say. So then how do we learn? Because you have to make mistakes before you learn, right? And who is who to say it's a mistake in the first place? So we are afraid of mistakes now. We are afraid of mistakes now. Then you become the king or queen of arrogance. You become an imbecile because you cannot learn anything. You shine the light, the torch, in a dark cave. What happens? The light reflects off of the cave surfaces and you can see where you're going. You don't fall off a cliff or fall into a river in the dark forest. You throw a stone in the dark forest and you can hear if it hits a tree or if it falls in the water. You know, don't walk in this direction. We are a life force. The flow of the Tao, the yin and yang, keeps flowing constantly as an energy. You only stop when you die. You are a constant flow. Not to keep talking, I don't mean to keep talking. I'm just saying that you're a constant flow. So we are always working. So we're always functioning. To cease to function is to cease to talk. It is what we do with it. If you keep driving a car in one direction, you may crash. But it's the watching. This is how you make progress and develop. You get to where you're going, you get further. You turn the direction of the car and you go where you're going. So someone who is afraid to talk, someone who is afraid to walk, I'm surprised they're not afraid to breathe. Yeah? But they would be. It's only that they're psychologically not focused on that. And the things we are not focused on seem to happen. Have you realised that? Even problem, but like the body still functions, the weather still changes. But when you focus on things so hard, sometimes you distract from other things, or that thing goes wrong, or it doesn't work in accordance with what else is there. You can have the most amazingly designed vehicle that may not work on certain terrain, may not go, you know. You may have the most amazing piece of software that does not work on the hardware. So it is better to be a good listener than a good talker. But what are we listening to? If nobody talks, then what can we learn? The listener listens to the talker. His value comes from the doing, what is being done. We build a city together. Yeah? The architect and the builder are listening to each other in their work. They're observing and working the best way to do it, because we can't do everything by ourselves, right? This is another important thing you see in certain cultures where They believe that the individuals, not as good as, more heads are better, so to speak, right? More hands are better. So there has to be communication. What is listening if there's no talking? What is talking if there's no listening? Right? That's it again, see? So it's like, it doesn't matter if you're people working in a restaurant, people working in any kind of job situation, like I've mentioned, teacher, student, whatever, whether it's, the surface you're standing on, the water you're swimming in, whether it's a bunch of surgeons working together to perform the operation. You talk about saving life, you want to try to maintain, preserve life. Yeah. You want to prevent getting wet. You don't just talk about what you're gonna do after you get drenched in the rain. You should have took an umbrella, or you should have stayed in. Yeah. How to see to this injury, how do you prevent such an injury from happening in the first place? You'd think we'd learn, but a lot of people, they don't seem to learn much. They just keep on making the same mistakes and worse, and they follow a line of ignorance because it's the popular thing to do. Be ignorant. Be constantly ignorant, and that's a very sad thing. It really, really is a sad thing. Let me just get some squats done. Yo. But anyway, so what is going on in the world around? What is actually going on? That's the question. What are we doing that's good for us or bad for us? That's the question, see? Breathe. Breathe. We can do a lot more for ourselves, with what we have than what we don't have. It doesn't, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Last few squats and I'll be finished. I'm going to do a few, I'm going to do a splits in a moment. Oh. Okay. And that posture there is very important. You get the postures, you get the position. Upper body, lower body. Flexibility. Blood flow throughout the body. Very important. Self-maintenance is more important than fighting with everyone and everything. You don't have to fight with negativity, meaning you don't have to fight with nothing, because nothing doesn't exist. What exists, we should make good use of, but not, lower ourselves, beyond our base. You don't bury yourself, you stand on the ground. As you walk, you are rooted. See these principles in various martial arts as well. If you take in poison every day, you might poison your system. It's better to eat and drink better if you can. Whatever you're trying to show is whatever you are seeing in the first place. They only talk about what they know. So they say after, 3 days without reading, talk becomes flavourless, something like that. They also say if you want to know the road ahead, ask those coming back. And if you want to know how deep the water is, don't jump in with 2 feet. There's a lot of things we can learn. But you have to understand where is the self and what is just a perception of reality which you're seeing from the external world, which others are not you. See others as the self, see the self as others. It does not mean to follow them or just live in a dream world. It means see yourself coming back and learn from the experience. and always see what you're doing, trying to learn better from it. But if you keep looking out into this man-made constructed society around you in this culture or another culture, you'll be confused by the decoration of it. It's a Christmas tree. No, it's just a tree that you call a Christmas tree. A piece of fabric. No, it was sewn together, and now you say it's a piece of fabric. What is the fabric of your world made of? What kind of reality you live in, which is the thing. This is the important thing. The last few stretches in, and we'll be okay. I'm going to have some food in a moment, have my, my dinner, my lunch. So I'm not hungry at the moment. I'm usually more hungry in the evenings, as I say. Yeah. Teach a man to fish. They said, was it? So I'm doing that comedy video. I'm saying, give a man a fish and he's fed for a day. Yeah. Teach a man to fish and he's fed for a lifetime. But a lot of people, it's like, give a man poison and he's poisoned for a day. Teach a man to poison himself and he poisons himself for the rest of his lifetime. And it's ridiculous. When you're practicing the end too much, you might come to a quick end, Whereas if you're practicing continuousness, when you practice unlimitedness, bit by bit, you may always be unlimited, You know what I'm trying to say? There's no perfection of words when you're trying to talk about reality, It is what it is, ultimately. There's no words that can describe it. It is what it is. So I'm going to get a quick splits in now. And some jumping jacks. At the moment, hold on. Let's go. Oh, split, not perfect splits, but as I was working out for quite a while before I started making this video also. Other exercises. We've gone over some other ones again, obviously too. And I feel really good, to be honest with you. Basic stretches. I do this every day, as I said, I do this before my long day. So do you do that before you go to work? Do you do at least this, every day, this whole routine that I do every day? Oh, you got to do something for yourself and you feel good is all I'm saying. So this is a basic martial arts stretch routine, is what it is, a basic strength in there as well. Basic structure, so, and all that. So, and that's what it basically is. So, do a few jumping jacks. We'll finish up on that today. But wisdom is the thing. What is to be said? And what is it that we're doing that we don't need to be doing with our lives? So, about 20. Good. So I've been around a lot of people in my life that spend more time talking that are contradicting everything they say when they say, it's better to be a good listener and all that, and the more you talk, the more mistakes you make, by whose standards are, not everyone's mistakes or answers are the same. If you say the same thing to different people, they're going to give you a different response to it, as well. And so you try it, analyze that. Get a sheet of paper. And tick, positive or negative response. Agree or disagree. You'll find different people will give you different answers, different reaction. And then even the same person, you can change the words slightly and say the same thing as you said to them on another day, and they'll give you a different answer. So that you think, okay, where am I walking? I'm in the abyss. I'm just talking to myself every day. I may as well really talk to myself and not make up this crap. Trying to play into what's winning and losing and what's making a mistake or not in their world. That's just nonsense. Who says? What? So when is something too much? Everything is nothing. Nothing is everything. Sometimes you know everything. You know nothing. But anything could be too much. No. Is it 101 words? Or is it one word? Which is it? Is it one word? You could say hello. Hello. Or goodbye. Anything. It would just show a smile. Or greet someone. That could be seen as weakness. That could be seen as too much. You've made a mistake today. Telling someone something good. Telling someone anything could be taken the wrong way. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes. But those mistakes are not your mistakes. I don't control the minds of others. How they see or hear what I say and see what I do as a mistake or negativity. It's their own viewpoint. And what they're really doing is seeing, perceptualizing what they believe, what they then tell themselves is bad or good for themselves. I'm in danger. Paranoia. You're feeding into a paranoid, insane, public insane asylum. Mental illness is what you're dealing with. And you're talking to people that believe that all they do is sin. Well, what is wrong with them? What is it that people see mistakes all over the place and want to tell people off for their mistakes? We should be saying, oh, well done. Look, all of us are imperfectly perfect, perfectly imperfect. We are always creating possibilities to learn. And if we can learn to accept ourselves and learn to accept each other and study what we are doing and study what others are doing, a bit just to analyse, not judge or with any principle behind it or what needs to be done to control everybody in the world around us. No, but just understand the body is the main thing first, in accordance with nature and the universe and the planet. And know that everything we create, any forms of currency, any forms of anything we create, it does not add to the human, but a lot of things add to human suffering. So this is the thing. This is the main thing. You need to really, really understand, take a look at why we talk to people a certain way. People talk to you a certain way for two reasons. Especially that negativity too, but it's like they'll do it because they feel uncomfortable and they feel there's a need to fight because they're in such a horrible struggle of a situation that they're helping to create by acknowledging this kind of behaviour in humanity as real, and this societal, public social conditioning as real, as real. It's not even real. And they don't know they're doing it, and it's all consciously, Because a bit away, I'll be below their consciousness. It's not in their consciousness. They're not aware they're doing it. And I'm going to say a lot of the time they don't even know what they're doing. It's become out of habit over the years a certain way. Is what they're doing. Okay? So So I'm going to stop this. Not okay because I'm saying okay. You know, no, it's not okay because I'm saying it's okay. I'm saying, all right, that's the end of the video. I'm going to stop this video here. You have to see, not just hear what people say and that's that. You need to see what is true in accordance with you. Like, if it wasn't this, like we tell ourselves, if it wasn't this society, if it wasn't this situation, if there weren't such controls and restraints, and then you say, well, no, that's living in a dream world, because the reality is we are living in this and we have to work in accordance with this situation. And then you come to the end. There's no possibility there. And you say it's better not to talk. Maybe you are someone who doesn't, maybe you are someone who practices that a bit more. Maybe it's good if you're humble too, but it's like, look, you think more talking's bad and you're better to listen. Well, what are you listening to? You're still listening to the voice in your mind, though. Your voice of reasoning, voice of choice. Why is it you keep walking into walls? Some people are still walking down that path. If you are someone who's truly listening, you've got to see what's really wrong. And sometimes it's just you if you're in a contaminated area, unsafe gases in the air, you go over here, you go over there, it's still a dangerous thing. You're in the jungle still. So you want to go to another place. If there's fire here, you don't walk there. If there's fire there, you don't walk there. You're creating more fire. So wherever you go, you're burning up and you're setting more trees on fire and you're causing more and more fire. Don't create hell. Talk about going to hell. Come to realization that you need to walk in the light. You need to seek the light, the truth. You need to seek the places where you can walk if you can't swim. And if you can swim, you can only swim in the water, you know. That's how it is. Because otherwise you keep making the mistakes which you're afraid of making or something, because talking more creates more mistakes, they say. And then you don't learn. So people, what's better? You don't learn? Well, you learn from it. And again, learn from the people that do make mistakes. Learn from that. Sometimes we learn more from others than we do from ourselves. But what we learn and what we attain from them is not bad emotion or good learning or anything from other people. What we learn is always from ourselves. It's a reflection of ourselves, our abilities, our position, our maintained base of what we are. Health, the body and mind. In accordance with nature and the truth. If not, then we're nothing. We are truly non-existent. Because there's only nature, that's all there is. There's only truth, there's only that. Nature's not only trees and flowers and grass and bushes, it's all that we have, the truth around us, you know. That's what it is. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. And you just take care of yourself, okay? If you're training martial arts, remember to try all different. There's benefit from all the different styles, you know. But you know, the most important is peace. The most important thing is peace. See, that's the most important thing. So I'm standing here now. And I train a mixture of different systems, as I say. I'm going to stop this video here, okay? I really am going to shut up now. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Train hard and stay safe. How long is this one? Yeah, quite a long one, yeah.